Welcome everybody to Pete's To-Do List. On this episode, we're going to do a summary of the bathroom renovation. Talk about the costs, talk about the phases, lessons learned, things I would do differently. So let's get down to it. Okay, let's get into the costs. So the total cost for the project is $5,487.68. That's for material. Doesn't take into account the cost, if any, for my own personal labor. So basically the cost is just for the materials. So I broken it down into multiple different categories: accessories, caulking, electrical, flooring, medicine cabinet, mirror, paint, plumbing, shower, toilet, tools, trim, vanity, and some wood. The biggest expense was the shower, and that included the glass doors and the shower base, and I think the controls were in there as well. And then the next most expensive thing was the vanity at about $1,000. Then the flooring was about $600, plumbing about $700, and then you can see all the different cost breakdown on the screen right now. So if you're interested in looking at that detail, please be my guest. But that's the cost, about $5,500. And I don't know what the going rate would be for a full bathroom renovation. Maybe you can put that in the comments below. But is it 10 grand? Is it 5 grand? Is it 20 grand? Obviously all depends on what quality of material that you put into the bathroom, right? If you put in gold toilets, it's going to be a little more expensive. Or the fully automated Toto toilet, it's going to be more expensive. So this should just give you a breakdown of, or a concept of, how much material it actually costs me. I had a whole bunch of my own tools already, so take that into account if you're trying to work out your budget for your bathroom. Okay, let's talk about the phases of the project. So, broke them down into these different categories: demolition, plumbing, tiles, the shower, the vanity, and miscellaneous. So let's start off with demolition. I took everything back to the chipboard, or to the wood that was underneath all of this. Took out the bathtub. That was a bugger. I thought it would have come out a little bit easier, but boy, it was in there, and it was a fight to take it out. Cutting it in half with a Sawzall really helped, but that was a challenge. So just, if you're going to do this yourself, be prepared for that one. Taking out the tiles, chipping them out, not a big deal, as long as you got the right safety gear on, your mask, your glasses. Should have a face shield, ear protection. And in the bathroom, you can close the door and turn on the bathroom fan to try and get the dust out. So that helped out a lot. Taking out the mirror, the vanity, the shower walls. So with the mirror, I tried something, I haven't done that before, but I taped it up so it wouldn't shatter all over the place, which I think worked out pretty well. I taped up the shower walls too, thinking that they might shatter, but they didn't. They came off in big pieces, so that was pretty good. So demo's fun. I kind of like demo. Just got to be careful you don't get too overzealous and hurt yourself. But usually the demo is a good thing, and then once you get it back to the chipboard or the base building, it gives you a bit of a jump start or perspective to keep going, and then to start building. So that was fun. The next step of the project included plumbing. So I did a little bit of extra plumbing that you don't normally have to do. But what I did is I added extra cutoffs for the shower controls. That's one of the things that builders don't do, is put in cutoffs for the shower water. So I added those underneath the vanity, and I also don't like reaching into a shower, turning on the tap and getting wet. So I moved the control to the opposite side of the shower head. And that required a little bit of extra plumbing, but not a big deal. And then I don't know if you've ever worked with PEX piping before. I've worked with a lot of copper piping in my many years, soldering those, and you know, you get good at it. It's okay to do, but boy, oh boy, the PEX plumbing these days, super easy. Crimp-on connectors. They have all the different attachments that you'll ever need. SharkBite makes really good products that you can add to it and include in it. So PEX piping is really easy to work with. The only thing that gave me a little trouble was this washroom has only one sink and one drain. So by putting in a dual sink vanity, I had to do extra drain work, extra plumbing underneath, and kind of modify this vanity to accommodate the second sink and the second drain. So that was a little bit of an extra. And I don't know if you've done plumbing underneath a vanity before, but working inside, like within the vanity, is not fun. You have to have some cushions. You have to protect yourself because you're reaching in and there's usually an edge hitting you in the shoulder. So that's a challenge. The next phase of the project was the tiling. So I put tiles on the floor, put tiles on the walls, and this is the first time I've done a lot of tiling before in my past. However, this is the first time that I use those little wedges. You can see them on the previous video, but little yellow wedges. They come in different colors and different sizes. But I think I used 1/8 inch spacers that you can put wedges in. And what the wedges do is they level out the tiles for you and maintain the spacing. So I am a really big fan of those wedges now. And those spacers, I'll use those again without a problem at all. I really like doing that. Tile work's a little bit monotonous. It's a little bit of a heavy lift because of the mortar. You know, you have to have a good drill. I bought a new drill to mix the mortar with, so that was a little bit of a challenge. And then always remember, if you're doing tiling, make sure you back butter the tiles, which means you're putting mud on the tile. You already have mud on your floor or your wall. You use your troweling tool to make the proper notches depending on the size of the tile. And then once you do that, hey man, you're in good shape. And then what I also did for tiling is I put a layer of Durarock underneath. So a layer of cement board first, screwed that into the subfloor, and then put my tiles on top of that. So there's no bounce in this floor. It's rock solid, and really happy with the way it turned out. I like the small minimal grout size. Like we used 1/8 of an inch, and it turned out really well. I like it. So there you go. The next step was installing the shower. So I took out the old bathtub, wanted to convert it to a walk-in shower. The first step was to put in the base. So you had to lay a mortar bed, make sure your drain was in the right spot, and then putting in the shower base, relatively simple and easy. Luckily, I had access to the drain through the garage. So there is a way to do all the drain connections from up above. It requires a different tool, which I don't have, but I had the luxury of being able to get at that drain, the P-trap, and all the plumbing from underneath. So I cut a hole in the garage ceiling, which is now patched, but I had access to that underneath, and that worked out really well. The shower controls, that's going to be a lesson learned topic, but that was a challenge. It takes a lot of effort to make sure that you have the shower controls positioned properly in your wall. You have to have the exact amount sticking out of your finished face of your ceramic tiles to make sure that the controls sit properly on the finished surface. So that took some effort. Okay, that's good for showers. Okay, the next step is the vanity. We'll talk about that for a minute. Oh, I'm so glad I think I ordered that from Home Depot, and included in the price was delivery of the vanity. And it was funny because when the guys came to deliver it, they went, "Oh, okay, you just want us to put it in the garage?" And I said, "No, no, sorry guys, it's going upstairs to the second floor." And I'm so glad I did that, because that vanity, this vanity that I'm sitting on, is very, very heavy. It was all one piece. I was thinking about taking it apart, but it was too difficult to do that. So I managed to wrestle it into the bathroom here in one piece. But I'm just so glad that they brought it up to the second floor, because I would never have been able to do that by myself. These guys from Home Depot were really strong, and thank you to them for bringing it up for me. So vanity turned out really well. I'm happy with it. You just got to make sure you got the right connections, the right amount of holes in your sinks to match the fixtures that you buy, the hot and cold taps. Okay, so that's for the vanity. The next section of the project is kind of a miscellaneous section. It included the mirrors, the medicine cabinet, the trim, towel bars, you know, all the little things that just make it look finished. So it took some time. It always takes a little bit of extra time to do that, because usually it's at the end of the project, right? So, you know, you're 90% finished, but then, that extra 10% sometimes takes a little bit longer because it's a little bit more fussy. You have to be really specific with your cuts. You want to make it look like it was meant to be and finished in a really good way. Let's talk about lessons learned. So I've been renovating homes and things for decades. And I always like doing things myself, just because, you know, if there's someone to blame, it's going to be me. If there's someone to congratulate, it's going to be me. It just seems to be easier that way for me. However, what I would do differently is get some help when it came to bringing the shower doors upstairs. These glass shower doors that are behind me here, each one of them weighs a couple 100 pounds. Now I bought some suction cups, and I have lifting straps. So I was very careful on how I positioned the lifting strap and the handles. But so the first one went in pretty well. I got it upstairs without too much of a problem. But the second one, oh boy, there was a small amount of time there that I was a little bit nervous, because I was getting close to the top of the stairs, and it seemed like there might be a chance that it wouldn't work. Luckily, I got it up. As soon as I got it up on the top step, I knew I was okay, because I could slide it onto the landing. But I wouldn't do that again. No. You need some help carrying those doors. And by the way, those shower doors I bought from Amazon, they turned out great. Single bar on the top, it was pretty cool. Single bar on the top that attaches to both sides. And then one of the panels sits flush to the top of the shower base. And that's put in place, and then the other door is the slider. But I like the way it's designed, and it went in relatively easy. Another lessons learned here is, and thanks to my wife for helping me position the doors, but another set of hands there would be great, because what I was trying to do was balance the door, trying to measure, trying to mark it. That's not recommended. I wouldn't do that again. What else here? Another lessons learned would be the shower controls. I think they're from offshore, just to put it that way. Next time I buy some shower controls, it's going to be here, built in the States. just for the instructions and hopefully the quality control. I'm happy with what we got, but the installation instructions were difficult. I managed to figure it out, but it was difficult. So that's it for the lessons learned, I think. Next section is what would I do differently next time if I did this again. So this project, I was traveling every week out of state, and I was coming home and doing it on the weekends, and that was taxing. So if there's an opportunity to take a week off or 2 weeks off, I would do that next time and then just focus as best I could, 8-10 hours a day, and just plow through it and keep on it and get it done. Stretching it out this way, it was convenient for us because we don't have to use this bathroom. It's a guest bathroom, spare bathroom. So I had the luxury of the schedule on that one. However, it just felt like it took so long, right? Oh, another weekend. And life goes on during that time. So anyways, it's good to take a week off or 2 weeks off and then just plow at it and get her done. Another thing I would do differently is I would make better use of the corner trim that you can buy with ceramic tiles. And the corner trim looks really cool. It's a good way to finish off the corner when the wall meets the floor. Also at the edge of the ceramic tiles. Those corner trims, beautiful. I haven't had a lot of experience in the past with them, but in the future I will use them. So that's pretty much it for the summary of the bathroom renovation. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer them. And that's a wrap for the second floor bathroom renovation. Thanks for joining. Hit that like button for me if you can. Hit subscribe, appreciate it. And have yourself a great day.